What's up, guys? Dave again with El Jardín Perdido. I got bit by a brown recluse. Alright, so the other day, it's about since Sunday, today's Saturday, so almost a week ago, I was gardening. I don't wear gloves, I just get down and dirty, and somewhere along the lines I got bit. This is kind of to inform you guys if you ever have something like this happen to you, but just kind of sharing my experience, because it was a little crazy. I also had, coincidentally, a sinus infection at the time, so I got hit by two things really bad. So the symptoms kind of intertwine there, but anyway, if you look up brown recluse bites on the internet, you're gonna see like horror stories, which usually those are people with bad immune systems, or HIV or AIDS, or older people, or like worst case scenarios are with younger people, like little kids under 5 years old. But anyway, day one felt, I have fire ants all around my yard. I get bit like crazy. I walk barefoot. This didn't even feel that bad. It felt as if maybe a mosquito bit me or something, and when I went inside, I was kind of like tapping it, the bite, and it felt like a burn, like a rug burn. And I'm thinking to myself, did I get like rug burn when I have a younger son, wrestling with my son. But anyway, it was slightly red, as if, like a mosquito bite or something minor. But if I put pressure on it, it felt, like a burn. So I'm like, all right. At the time, I didn't know I got bit. I didn't see the spider or anything. I'm like, all right, whatever. I really wrote it off as nothing. The only reason I recollect it is because I was kind of backtracking my mental log to figure out exactly what it was. So day two, I wake up and it starts blistering a little bit. And I'm like, okay. And it's like a bunch of little blisters rather than one big one. But I always do this with blisters anyway. I figured whatever's making it swell, let me relieve it. Small needle prick, and just kind of drained it out. And the next day it was a little more red, spreading a little bit, and I had to drain it again, and I started doing research. And yes, one of the first things I thought, Texas was brown recluse, amongst other things, but because that was one of the only things that would blister like that and start as a bite and have these burning sensations. And so I looked it up, saw some really worst case scenarios, and tried to kind of pace myself, dig deeper, and I saw, things that looked exactly like I had, and kind of tried to be calm about it, do my research, and 90% of the time people get these bites, and it doesn't go much further than that. So the next day I'm a little concerned, and I go to a clinic and get it checked out, and it's a free clinic with my work, but I happen to know more than the lady did, the doctor, about what was going on. And she took a biopsy. She couldn't give me a clear result. I went because I wanted to make sure it wasn't bacterial or I had some kind of weird infection. Anyway, she gave me some I don't remember the exact name of it. It wasn't amoxicillin or penicillin or anything typical, but it was an antibiotic. And so I got it filled, but I'm really against antibiotics in general, unless it's something crucial, life-threatening, or, bacterial. So I got it, but I held off on taking it. Also, in the description, it was pretty much guaranteed diarrhea. It even warned that you may have diarrhea for like a month after taking it. I'm all about maintaining my immune system and my gut bacteria and all that, so I kind of held off on it as long as I could. But anyway, that's about as bad as it got. I'll show you guys some pictures and stuff, but that's a week later. It's pretty much the worst of it. I've been feeling some slight itch, meaning that it's probably starting to heal itself. But mostly I was making this video to inform anyone who gets bit by a brown recluse. Definitely, if the pain keeps going, you want to get it checked out, because it could be doing damage underneath your skin where you can't see. If it spreads, for sure. You know, if the radius of the bite and the venom spreads, for sure get it checked out. If you have any kind of infection, take your antibiotics for sure, because there are horror stories out there. But I just kind of sucked it up. The reason why I mentioned I was sick was because I wasn't sure if the symptoms were from the bite or from a sinus infection, but I did have the chills, headaches, fever, symptoms like that for the first 3 days. But most of all, you know, better safe than sorry, get it checked out, but definitely don't look at the pictures and start panicking, because it's not necessarily going to take that route. Anyway, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. All right.